was a guide for all people and a mercy to the universe. Was a guide for all people, God's peace and blessings.
طيب بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن So it's Tuesday, and Tuesdays we're going to do a Q&A live. We will do some of the questions that are already posted. There's some good questions there. And then also anyone here can ask questions as well. And also today we have two special guests, Aman and Hamza, who will be also panelists with me. They can, add to the conversation or the questions or the answers, inshallah. So it could be a bit more interactive than only me speaking. Cool. So let me get to the first question over here. So somebody's asking anonymously, I have been feeling dead spiritually lately and I don't know what to do. And lately I've been thinking that if Islam doesn't help me to be happy, then I should turn to producing music. Okay, so Islam is not helping. They want to go and produce music to be happy. What advice, Aman or Hamza, do you guys want to give this person? Okay, Aman, you want to go first? Go ahead.
I'd start off with the first part about spirituality, about how you can improve your spirituality. One of the very important things is having good companionship, surrounding yourself with good people. And the reason is that, I'm sure many of us have heard this hadith many times, that a man is upon the religion of his friend, right? Because the environment you're in, the people you surround yourself with, they have an effect on who you become and what you do. And again, in Surah Al-Furqan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says about a person on the Day of Judgment who's feeling regret about the way they live their life, and they say, Ya waylaka laytani lam attakhid fulanan khalila, that, oh, woe to me, I wish I had not taken so-and-so as a friend. And the person literally saying so-and-so because they can't remember who that person was. And again, it's really important that we surround ourselves with good people, because those the people we surround ourselves with, they have an impact on who we become. And again, there's another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he says that, he gives the example of a misc shop and a blacksmith, right? That if you enter a misc shop, you're going to come out probably smelling good, because he might offer you some, the shop owner might offer you some, or you might buy some for yourself. But then when you go to a blacksmith's workshop, what happens there is that you're going to get you're going to come out not smelling so good, your clothes burn and all that, all those things. So he says that your friends are similar to this, that if you have good friends, then they're going to have a good impact on you, a positive impact on you. But if you have bad friends, they're just going to drag you down and can have a negative impact on you.
Okay, Aman. So yes, so one source of feeling spiritual happiness and spiritually connected is to have people around who are spiritually connected and who are, spiritually happy, and they'll help you also with that. So that's what Aman is referring to. Definitely keeping the right company is very, very important. Tayyib, Hamza, did you want to add something to this question or answer? Hamza bhai. Okay, so Hamza, you can unmute yourself if you want to chime in. A couple of things I want to say about this, guys. You need to know what's the sources of being spiritually connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're just a believer and don't do anything about it, how are you going to feel connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Quran tells us a few ways you feel that spiritual connection. Oh, my mic stopped working. Can I answer the typed question? Sure, you can answer the typed question, and I'll finish with this one, inshallah. So one source of connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and feeling that happy spiritual feeling Allah says, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُم بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. Those who believe and in their hearts satisfaction is felt when they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts do find satisfaction and find that peace and serenity. So the increase in the remembrance of Allah is one form, right? Which means dhikr, Quran, prayer, du'as, etc. They will keep you connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's one. Another hadith or a hadith mentions that there are three cases or three instances or situations that whoever is in those situations, they will feel the pleasure or the sweetness of iman. ذاق طعم الإيمان. First, that Allah and His Messenger are more beloved to them than anything else. So when you put Allah and His Messenger above everything else, when that's your priority, everything else is secondary, you will feel the sweetness of iman. When that is how you live, you will feel it, right? But if Allah and His Messenger are just, oh, I believe in them, but they don't make an impact on me, I do whatever I want to do, then you're not going to feel that spiritual connection. Second one is on the lines of what Aman said, أن يحب المرء لا يحبه إلا لله, that you love a person for only the sake of Allah. So when you have that connection with people and you love them truly for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that love for them and that connection with them becomes a joy of happiness, joy of sweetness of iman, right? You're around good company and you're around them for the sake of Allah, and because they're good people and because they have good morals and ethics and akhlaq and connection with Allah, you will feel the happiness of iman as well. And the last one, أن يكره المرء أن يعود للكفر كما يكره أن يلقى في النار, that a person hates going back to kufr, hates going back to what is what the previous life they had, right? The previous haram life, just as much as they would hate to actually enter fire. Who would like to go into a burning building? Who would like to go into a burning, factory and you just walk into it? No one would ever like to go into that. You would hate it so much, like oh man, I can't even imagine it. What do you mean, right? So just that much hatred you should have for anything that was in your previous life in terms of sins and kufr, that you hate that previous life, all right? So when you have that, you will feel the sweetness of iman. Now, one more thing I want to add, the whole question itself. I want to go produce music. طيب, أخي, go and do, or أختي, whoever it is, أخي or أختي, go and do something that is halal, that you enjoy, okay? Go produce comedy, go produce skits, go produce Islamic reminders, go produce video games, okay? Go get a hobby that you enjoy that is halal. Go and do that, right? So yes, Islam allows us to do certain things that are halal. Go and do halal things, inshallah. And you can train yourself to enjoy halal things. If you're going to just follow your desires and don't care if it's halal or haram, you're going to mess up, okay? So go and indulge in halal fun, but trust me, if you just do halal fun all the time, also that's going to be there's going to be some negative to that, because you're always just preoccupied with just fun. It becomes boring later on. So you got to balance it with other things. Be patient, spiritually connected, making dua, etc. Won't fix your problems in one night. It requires a lot of faith. طيب, جزاك خير, Nada. Yes, sometimes it's not overnight. Like spiritual connection takes some time to build. This is where Ramadan, some of the the wisdoms of it being 30 days. Allah could have made it 10 days. Allah could have made it 100 days, right? It being 1 month. 1 month is a good time, even psychologically or whatever, as they were mentioning in the podcast before, I guess you can call it Zoom podcast, that it takes some time to develop habits. 20 days, some say 30, 40, whatever, to develop it. And 30 days is a perfect amount of time to really develop habits and build connection. So use Ramadan that's coming up to really connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though it's a little bit more difficult this time around, not being able to go to the masjid. But hey, maybe you can even develop more connection with Allah by doing certain ibadahs alone and worshipping Allah alone. It could be solved in one night. Yes, it could be solved in one night. But if you are banking on being solved one night and it's not solved one night, then you might get frustrated. So Yeah, it could happen one night. It could happen 1 month. It could take a longer time. But yeah. Alrighty. Let me see what's happening here with these questions. So if someone disbelieves in Allah, day of okay. Hamza, thanks for that. I'll be more in the hereafter over in the world. Allah says, okay, good answer, Hamza. So they will get rewarded in the dunya, not in the akhirah. What else? Yeah, he's showing indications and proofs. Very well done, Hamza. Proofs and indications that the person will go to hell. Now, just one thing I want to add, guys. This question itself has a bit of faultiness in it. You're assuming by living just a good moral life, then you're good enough to go to heaven. Question becomes, this moral person, if they don't believe in Allah, will all their actions be in line with what Allah considers moral? Right? Because Allah's measurement of what is moral and ethical and right will be different than a person who doesn't know what Allah wants from them, who doesn't believe in Allah. So simple example is alcohol. This person, they could be a really nice person, right? They're really nice. And they're good and helpful and all these good qualities, they're truthful, etc. But they're drinking alcohol casually because society doesn't really look at alcohol as a sin. If you drink responsibly, that's all that they care. That's, hey, if you drink responsibly, you're a good person. They could be engaging in haram relationships outside of marriage. They could have other things that are immoral, right? And besides that, what Allah really looks for before these actions is the iman, is the belief in Allah. That is what the whole essence is that to have the proper iman, belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in what He has revealed, etc. When you have that as the basis and foundation, you can build then other actions on it, but you cannot build actions without a foundation. Okay, you can't build doors and windows and put carpets when you have no walls and no foundation in the building. All right, so on the day of judgment, it is not accepted, and the person will suffer accordingly. Shirk or kufr is a major dhulm upon himself, so how can I... yeah, exactly. Okay, so the saying that you're a good person but you're doing shirk, it's an oxymoron in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, what other questions were there? Okay, I'm going to go to the next question here. Okay, you guys ready to get confused? And let's unconfuse ourselves after I ask this question. Okay, this is a question. It's related to metaphysics and a very hard for me to word, but here goes. Let's go. Let's see what this person has to say. So as humans, Allah has bound us to time. At every single instant in time, we exist with our set conscious soul. Right now, we are in this present, living as the future approaches. And when we die, we spend our time in the grave and face the day of judgment. Now, even though we are existing right now, we are also existing then, in the day of judgment, for instance. So really, we are in our consciousness. Are we really here, but also there? For Allah, because He is not bound to time, He has everything already happened for Him. Okay. You guys understand the question? Sort of. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand 100%, but I think so. The person saying, from our perspective, we are bound by time, but in Allah's perspective, we're not bound. He's not bound by time. So then, we exist now, and we exist in the future, and we exist in the past. So how is that possible? And then, what did the person say? for Allah, He's not bound by time, so has everything already happened for Him? Okay, so there's two questions here. Guys, this issue of time and being bound by time and Allah not being bound by time, you got to stick with your realm and try to stop figuring out a realm or another reality that is a reality that we cannot fully comprehend as limited human beings. You want to go into the realm of Allah, who is unbound, has no restrictions, limitations in any shape or form, and understand that. It's hard for us to understand it, because how do we understand things? How do we learn things? We learn it either through experience, personal experience, or through the experience of others, or through reading about things, right? That somebody can tell us. Now, no human is unlimited. No human has met somebody who's unlimited, and Allah didn't tell us about His infinite nature beyond what we know. Okay, so He told us that for Him, He knows the past, present, and future. He's not bound by time. That's it. Now you want to know how is that, and you want to say how is that in a metaphysical world and a physical world and the physics, 3D science, blah blah. You can't. Science and physics is applied in a 3D world, right? For Allah's realm, He's unbound by time, space, etc. It's His dominion and it's His realm. Don't try to go into Allah's realm. You're not God to understand it, and He has not taught us beyond what we know already. So going into that realm is just a failure. It's actually illogical to try to even understand or question that realm, because it's not an experience that humans have had or can have. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, time is His thing, right? Today, tomorrow, next day, it's His thing. And it's not right to say we exist now and we exist in the future, or we exist in heaven in the day of judgment and we exist now. No, we don't. We are bound by time, and our existence is bound by time. For Allah, He is not bound by time. Not that His creatures are not bound by time. Allah is not bound by time. We are. So we only exist in a time spectrum, if that makes sense. Okay, so anybody want to add anything to it? Yeah, good job, physics teacher, Mr. Qureshi. Yeah, even certain things from a human physics perspective, we can't really fully comprehend. Okay, and there's still, questions and debates and different theories that scientists debate on, like Mr. Qureshi is mentioning, special relativity and general relativity and quantum mechanics and all that good stuff. Cool, guys? Yeah, Allah, for Him, very easy. Kun fayakun, be and it'll be, and He's not bound by anything. So it becomes, when we try to understand His world, it becomes, or His realm, not world, His realm, it's messed up. We can't, right? And as Mr. Qureshi, even our world, there are things we don't understand, and we want to go into Allah's infinite, realm and try to understand it. Okay. And that's why, by the way, you have any of those, a lot of movies about time travel, person goes backwards or goes forwards and meets themselves in that time or whatever. They all don't make sense. It's all like weird. You're there, but you're here and you exist in, it's really weird stuff. It's just up to the director's imagination and the writer's imagination. Everybody's got their own imagination. Cool. So I think this might be written by the same person, because it's submitted a couple of minutes later. It says, knowing that this creation will disobey Him and He would punish them, why did Allah make those creatures to begin with? Okay. Anybody want to answer? Aman, Mazhar, you want to say something about that?
So first things first, it's really important for us to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't create us to punish us or to send us to hell. That's not the purpose of our creation. the purpose of our creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the purpose of our creation. And with regards to the question, we don't know what's going to happen to us, right? We don't know what we're destined for. We don't know if we're going to go to Jannah or Jannah. We have to try our best, because we don't know what lies in the future for us. We have to just try our best to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, thank you. So we don't know where we're going, and that's not the purpose. Our purpose is not to go to hell. That's not why Allah created us, but it's a consequence. Okay, thank you. Hamza, your mic is still problematic. Not a problem. Hey Farha, do you want to be a co-panelist? Oh, come on. You can be a co-panelist here. All right, next time. I'll get you next time, Farha. All right. Anybody else wants to be a co-panelist? You're welcome to come in and discuss and add. Okay, he created us to worship him, doesn't want us to punish us, he wants to reward us. However, if one chooses to disbelieve, that is a consequence of their disbelief. Very nicely done. يريد الله والله يريد أن يتوب عليكم يريد الله ليهديكم. Allah in the Quran tells us in many places he wants to guide us, he wants us he wants to forgive us. Allah is the most forgiving, loving, he loves to forgive. But this world, okay, this world, yeah, mashallah, Hamza, this world would not be what it is if there isn't failure, if there isn't free choice and free will, right? There is free will, there is free choice, and there's consequences for it. Why do teachers test students knowing that some students will fail? Well, otherwise it's not a test if there is no potential for failure. There's no potential for something not to work out, okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, he created us, put tests in our way. Our desires is a fitna. Different things he created is a fitna. Shaitan is a fitna. You know, and then he gave us guidance how to deal with all these different fitnas. And he told us, hey, it's your choice, free will, right? You go ahead and follow my way. You'll have the best of this world. You'll be able to fulfill your desires in a halal way. You will fulfill all your needs and instincts in a halal way, and you'll get my pleasure and my satisfaction in Jannah on the Day of Judgment. You want to do it your own way. You want to ignore my guidance. You want to just do your own thing. That's your problem. You're going to have consequences in the dunya and akhirah, right? So these consequences are just a natural outcome of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed the world and left us to figure things out, okay? So he actually created us to go to Jannah. The consequences of it, though, is that some people will go to hell. That is what it is, okay? If we just go to heaven without doing any work for it, we didn't deserve it. If we just go to hell without failing, we don't deserve it. He put this world and gave people choice to go right or left, and that is the reality of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did in his own wisdom. Now you're going to go and ask, oh Allah, why did you do it that way? You have no right to question Allah what or why he does things. لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. If this ayah can just be understood properly, it would really humble people and stop asking these questions of why God chose to do this and why God did that. Okay, it's Allah's irada and mashi'a. It's his will, and it is his what he wants to do, right? He controls everything and he creates everything, and he has wisdoms in everything that he does. Sometimes we may understand, sometimes we may not. But then to go and like trying to ask question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, certain things he has asked and he has given us wisdoms for, other things he may not have. Just remember that he is not the one who will be questioned on the Day of Judgment. You will be questioned on the Day of Judgment. So prepare for your answers instead of waiting for Allah to answer you. Mic drop. All right. Cool. Next question. Or anyone else wants to add anything? We're almost done, man. Where did time go when we're having fun? Okay, let's just do one more easy one. Okay, by the way, there's one that we will answer next time, and it's a deeply messed up one. SubhanAllah. Okay, there's two questions here. Is it that no one entered Jannah because they deserve it? I remember the story about a man who spent his whole life as a hermit, okay, doing ibadah. Okay, I don't know what a hermit is, but okay. A monk, okay, and even when he entered Jannah, it was said that. Okay, so Bishr, the answer to that is no one can repay Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what He has done for us in order to enter Jannah. Allah has given us so much, He has blessed us so much that we can never repay Him, and thus we can never enter Jannah by repaying what Allah did, because the hadith continues, and when He says, no, I deserve Jannah with my actions, Allah shows, He brings the scale, and just His eyesight are brought forward to see how big of a ni'mah your eyesight is, and His actions, and just His eyesight is more valuable than all the actions that they've done, right? So we can never repay Allah for all the blessings He has given us, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very fair, and He forgives, and He elevates, and He multiplies deeds, and so we do enter Jannah with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy and rahmah, but we have a say in doing what we can to earn His mercy and rahmah. Inshallah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. What is this last question from Farha? And people stop asking, please, because we're out of time. Since people's actions are driven by their environment, and aren't people's decisions to be good or not, or to believe or not, driven by their experiences and environments? So how can we understand the justice in someone being punished when their environment has led them to develop a thought process that leads them to disbelieve or not even concern themselves with such matters? Okay. Good question. It's a deep question, but I would say simply, whatever is out there to mislead us, to misguide us, whether it be the environment, our forefathers, our parents, our family, culture, etc., that all leads us to a certain way of thinking and a certain paradigm. If a human being is looking for guidance, he will find it. And if they choose then to disregard it because they have a certain way of life and they want to keep that way of life, this is where the punishment comes in. They know what is the truth, but they're used to a certain way of life. They're used to a certain, whatever it may be, culture, what have you, and they don't want to change it. This is what, arrogance and following desires is all about. If a person never really, if they were so messed up in their way of thinking that really, the truth never got to them, or they never even bothered, or it never reached them, they may be of the people that never received the revelation, or they never received it. Okay, but we don't know, we cannot judge, but we can say that Allah will not punish a person unless they have access and know the truth and refuse to follow it. Okay, for whatever reasons that they have, that they refuse to follow a certain way, then they will be punished. Otherwise, Allah will, judge them accordingly on the Day of Judgment. Okay, cool. We'll stop here. I just wanted to say one more thing, guys. Very important, because there are some questions where people are looking and fishing around the internet for messed up articles or messed up websites and say, how do we refute that? Please, if you want to destroy your Iman and your Islam and your spirituality, keep doing that, okay? If you want to preserve your Iman and your spirituality and your understanding of Islam, avoid those websites and articles, okay? You need to build your Islamic knowledge to a level where you can refute the stuff, okay? You're going to go read the stuff and you can't determine what is authentic, what is not, what is a fake hadith they're quoting, what is a misquote, what is a wrong quote or not even a quote at all. Then you're gonna really mess yourself up. Okay, so there was a question by a person, they posted an article and they said, hey, my Iman is shaking from this. Man, why would you read such an article? Okay, I even at my age and whatever knowledge, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with, I avoid that stuff. It just brings me down. It's I know it's a fake, I know it's a lie, I have enough evidences otherwise, I don't need one random person to give me some stupid misquotations or da'if, quotations or made up quotations to try to tell me otherwise. Okay, so please avoid that stuff. Avoid that stuff. Avoid that stuff. If there's a particular thing in that article that really you need to like clarify, just quote that part and clarify it, and stop reading the rest of the article and stop going into these websites. Otherwise, you're going to destroy yourself completely. We'll discuss this one, inshallah, next Tuesday. Although next week will be the last week before Ramadan, so we'll probably do some Ramadan-ish stuff. All right, guys? So this is awesome. Guys, if anybody else wants to jump on and be a co-panelist, let me know. Okay, and I'll let you be a co-panelist next time. So tomorrow we'll do the signs of the day of judgment, and we'll stop here. Jazakumullah khairan all. Barakallahu fikum for participating and taking part. Thank you, Aman and Hamza and everybody else. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Was a guide for all people and a mercy to the universe. Was a guide.